Can anyone that's hanging out in the chat just let us know if you can hear us on the stream before I flip it over?
I want to know if I'm heard.
This is our pre-show sound check.
They can hear you before you actually...
They can't see us yet, but they can hear us.
What does this do?
Well,
Ooh,
now
I could put
you
like
freaking PIP'd yourself.
I'll see. Ooh. What can I put over there? Image source. How do I select it? How do I change that source? I might have to play with this later if this looks...
Okay, they can hear us. I'm about to flip it over. Let's see if it works. We don't know if it's going to work or not. Boom. Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 12 of Press Extra Revolution. Frick. I think it's November 10th, 2021. No one corrected me last week when I said the date, and it was drastic. It was like over a month off, and no one said anything. This is the video game podcast by regular people for regular people. Here with me today, I think, did I say my name? My name is Michael. Here with me today are my co-hosts, Andrew, the fastest guns in the Midwest, and Andrew, R.I.P. Sander Walker.
That is incorrect. I am not the fastest guns in the West. Anyone who has ever played me in anything revolving reflexes or speed knows that I am the slowest in the West.
You're
most likely to die.
You're a decent first-person shooter player.
My Twitch skills are okay. I wouldn't call them great. They're definitely... I haven't been playing as many mouse clickers lately, so... but I have a story to tell later, so...
Nice.
I'm a Twitch streamer.
And
speaking of Twitch streamers,
Alan, I suppose thinks that this is not going to work. This is not a funny bit for the audio bits, but Alan has his camera pointed at his TV poorly, may I add. It covers about a third of the frame, and he is playing that fake Persona game he mentioned last week about grandmas or something.
Does anyone in the chat remember the game that was?
Yeah,
Alan
could anyone in the chat remember the game that Alan said that he was playing last week? That was like. Yes, Cold Steel. Okay, they already said it. Dang it.
Yeah.
Factorio nailed it before we were even ready.
Yep, that is correct.
So, before we get into the main meat of today's discussion, Andrew, you want to talk about the game that you beat this last week? Give a little brief update.
Oh man, it is with great joy that I am here to announce that I have beaten Metroid Dread. What?
Kind of sounds like your mic is inside your body.
It does sound like your mic is turned up super loud. Like maybe turn it a little down.
Yeah, I can do that. I can definitely do that. I don't think I've messed with the gain settings since last week, but is that better?
It's weird. Yeah, I think it was peaking. I can adjust it on my end. The crowd can tell us if anybody's too loud or too quiet. But
well, I'll move it away from my face.
You beat your Metroid Dread. How's it going?
Yeah, I beat it. Saturday I got to the final boss and I was like, okay, like I can't do it tonight. My reflexes were noticeably like slowing down. It's like, okay, I am past prime, my peak hours are over, so I'm just gonna beat this tomorrow. And then proceeded to spend most of the entire afternoon trying to beat that stupid thing. And I was so excited when I finally was able to do it. And then it goes into a second complete boss, and I'm like, oh no, I'm gonna have to fight this whole thing too. And I was like not prepared. And thankfully that didn't last very long and I was able to beat it and get out.
Do you know how many attempts you put out on that boss?
Oh jeez. I'm trying to think if I like maybe 30.
Oh,
maybe.
Dang, dude.
Dude, I was pounding my head against it for a long time. I figured out the first phase fairly quickly. And then I mastered the first phase fairly quickly. It's not that hard. The second phase, it took me a long time to get past.
Could you just not figure out how to dodge it?
It was the dodging, and then I would some of his moves have similar they look like they're gonna he starts in a position and it could go one of two ways. And some of the moves in that second phase.
See, I felt like he was pretty clear compared to some of the other fights in the game.
But I by far had the most problems with this fight specifically. It was not great at all. But I finally beat it and I was super excited. there's some story implications for Samus Aran at the end of that game.
For
Of
the
just
whole,
like,
yeah, the whole Metroid story canon gets freaking
yeah,
crazy. Like,
there's some stuff to address there. I think that she's a little OP at this point. Like the part where she tries, without spoiling anything, she tries to take off from the with the ship, and the robot's like, "Stop! Don't, don't do that."
you are too powerful.
Yes. So, but no, I have mixed emotions about that game. I think I enjoyed it. I think that would be my final like overall at the end of everything. But there were so many things in that game that really frustrated me.
Did you like the game more or less when you died and you got the tooltip that said, "Hey, every single boss move is dodgeable. You just got to figure it out." Did that make you like the game more or less?
The solution is just don't read the tooltip. I mean I never read. I read them like a couple, like once. I was like, oh, what's that? Oh, okay.
If you don't ever
like,
read them, there are things you will not know about the game.
There's some really stupid stuff. Like those tooltips is like, okay, whatever. That freaking computer, Adam, is like the worst character in all of video game history. He's like, Samus, you suck at this, and you need to get better. And it's like, yeah, dude, I'm well aware. It's like, you cannot take Ravenbeak now. Yeah, no freaking kidding. It's like, oh, you just beat this boss. You need more items. Yeah, okay. It's like, you're in a bad way. You need to get back to your ship. Sweet, dude. I got this. It's like, you are the most useless character. And I was talking to a friend at work, and he's like, yeah, the Federation gave her this computer, and it's like this whole thing for her to use. And it's like, they suck. Like, this is the worst. There's some, but overall, like I think I had enough fun that it was worth doing. I'm glad that I beat it for sure. I will say, when I beat that final boss, I didn't get the joy of like accomplishment that I kind of wanted to get. I was more like just a relief. Okay, I don't have to do that again. Whereas like when I completed a boss like Dark Souls Smough Ornstein, like that was like just like, I can't believe I just pulled this off. Like, this is awesome. Like, I was missing that feeling at the end of Metroid, where I was just relieved and I could get this game over with.
So everyone can have their own opinions, but I find it a little crazy to think that you thought the Metroid boss was unfair, but you felt like the Smough and Ornstein fight was fair, because that fight sucks.
I'm not necessarily talking about fair. I'm talking about my perspective of what it was and like my reactions after it.
Frick Smough Ornstein.
That was such an so anyway, I beat that, and I have moved on to a couple new games. Right before I finished Metroid, I really got a Pokemon craving. It's like, I really want to play some Pokemon, and so I was talking to you about, Sword and Shield, trying to figure out, or I was trying to decide between Let's Go and Sword and Shield. I ended up going with Sword, and I've been playing through that. My girlfriend came over the other day, and she's like, "What are you playing?" And I'm like, "Pokemon," and then she just laughed at me. I was like, "Okay, this feels great."
For children, is that why?
I guess. Did
you tell her that you once went with a bunch of your high school friends to a Pokemon event with a bunch of children at a Toys R Us?
I don't feel secure enough in my relationship to reveal that quite yet.
You can't share it yet. Good thing it's on the internet, but she doesn't watch the show, so we're good.
She does. She's literally told me, she's like, I tried once. I got like a minute into it, and I was like, nope, this isn't for me.
Alan.
So thanks, hon. Appreciate it. Yeah.
Budget Persona. Is that what this game is? This.
No, I mean it's really good. I'm how much? I am 78 hours.
So
I have on the clock now. And now all of that's like, it's probably more like 60 hours. The others are just like idle time.
What is the thing that differentiates this game from a Persona? Because the way you described it made it seem very Persona-like.
It looks like Persona.
You do have.
It doesn't have style. It doesn't have the style of Persona. Just from this little clip I've seen.
That's true. But it has an incredibly like. The dialogue is really, really well written for being a JRPG. Like, as I said before, like there's reasons to actually talk to the NPCs, and the voice acting is actually above par for JRPGs. Like, they actually read, because the problem with JRPGs, anybody who plays with English voices on, they never read the line how someone would actually say it. And I think it's just because they haven't read the whole script. It's like
Well,
if you knew the situation that you were in, you would not say it that way. You're not putting the emphasis on the right words here. So there's that. Also, I mean, it is broken up into like, months, and the time does pass, and it starts where you have a couple days at the school. So you have a day running around doing errands for the student council. Then you have a day where you have free time where you run around and that's where you do your bonding points. Then you have a field study, which is where you fight something, and introduce some new combat mechanic. And then, sorry, that's the training day. And then you have the field study where they send you to a location in this huge map. They send you to a location with about half the students, and you do some like menial tasks there, but it ends up uncovering like a larger plot. Like in the last place, I just uncovered like a terrorist plot to take out essentially the prime minister, and I don't. He seems like a bad guy, so I'm like, the terrorists good guys? Like I don't know. Like the plot finally picked up, and then it rinses and repeats. It also doesn't have personae, so you don't have a bunch of that, but instead you have more party members. And
like how
again,
how
their
many? What are we
abilities.
talking about? Like, are we talking like
I have 10
400 or
currently.
like? Okay.
I have 10. I have 10. And their abilities are kind of materia based, but I like it better than materia. And when you fight on the fight screen, you can move around the battlefield, and some attacks are in a line, some attacks are small area, some are big area, some are single target. And so positioning is a huge deal. Like I like to start off every boss fight by I have 4 different buffs on the characters I like to use the most. So I buff speed, I buff attack, I buff defense and magic defense. Those are the 4 things that I buff. Oh, sorry, defense and attack.
And these are things you
And
actively have to pop every battle.
I did it on a recent boss, and that boss said, "Oh, you're just gonna stand there and buff everybody because the buffs have range." It was 3 different bosses like in the same boss fight. They just reamed me because they just AOE'd me because I didn't move because I'm like, I'm gonna stay here and buff. Nope, you just got AOE'd to death. Like you had to separate the party. So it's quite fun. It's very fast paced. It would be much more. The original I can see would be much more tedious because you do not have turbo mode to speed, like as you were seeing how fast I run.
Yeah.
The normal run speed is not fast.
So this is a re-release?
Yes, it was released for PS3 and Vita first. And so, but it is actually
It seems like a Vita game.
It's much more fun than I thought it was going to be. And so I finally passed where I got to on the Vita, and it's quite good. I'm in August, the game ends in October, so I have 3 more months.
Nice.
So it's quite fun.
And how many of them did you say you had? 3?
There are 4. So there are 4. So the Legend of Heroes games, there's 3 Trails in the Sky games that came out for the PSP and the Vita. And then there were 2. So those take place. I played the first 2. They take place in a different country than this. In fact, these guys are the bad guys in that first game. The Aragonia, the Empire, is the bad guys in those first games.
Yeah.
And so there's another central place like that, the trading hubs called Crossbell. It's like the major trade city. It has 2 games, but they've never been localized. They've never been brought over to the West. So, and then after that, Cold Steel 1 and 2 take place at the same time as the 2 Crossbell games, so they are overlapping storylines. But the 2 Crossbell games are coming out next year. They're finally being brought over, localized. So,
did you have a 3DS?
I mean, I did at one point. Like the problem is I find that I don't actually play on the go. Like if I'm mobily, I literally just read instead. I like my Vita and then my DS. I just never used them.
Okay, I was gonna ask if you what is the Fire Emblem game? Not Three Houses, which kind of does the same thing, but what's the one that they released 3 different Fire Emblems, and you played the different factions in each one?
That was 3. goes through houses.
Well, that's on the Switch. There was one on the 3DS before Three
I know some of
Houses.
them.
Anyway, it was like actually different releases instead of all being in the same game.
But it's
don't
quite fun.
remember.
It's going to keep me busy for. I'm not going to play straight through. That's ridiculous.
So what
I'm
do
going
you?
to play
what do you-
one,
What's your
and I'm going to get
next?
through two. What? Sorry.
What's your next that you're gonna use in between?
Next, I'm going to finish.
Unity.
I'm going to finish platinuming Unity. But I'm also.
I
gonna
thought you
finish
said you only platinum games you like.
I've come too far though. I'm too close to Unity. I'm gonna
Fate and
finish.
Conquest and Birthright. Thank you, Chaos Reads. The
There we go.
Fire Emblem. Yes, those were awesome.
I'm gonna finish. Trails in the Sky. The dialogue's just excellent. Chaos Reads. It's so good. I'm gonna finish Plague Tale. And then I downloaded, I got on the dirt cheap. I got that Call of Cthulhu, like first person kind of investigative Lovecraftian horror game.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna play that as well. And then I'll probably play Elden Ring at some point.
We will get to Elden Ring. That's part of the huge discussion today. Real quick,
I have
Andrew.
not been able to watch the preview videos.
It's
Have
okay.
you watched them already today?
I watched some of the previous preview videos, not the new ones.
I watch Skill Up a lot. I like Skill Up's reviews. He played 4 hours of Elden Ring and put a video up on it. And it's on my queue. I just hadn't had a chance to watch it.
I've listened to people talk about the new ones. Andrew, did you say you played something else other than Pokemon 2?
Yes. So Forza Horizon 5.
Oh,
Came
people have
out.
been loving that one. I know you were a big. Was it 3 fan?
3.
You loved 3, and for some reason you were so mad on 4. And I've only played a little bit of both, and I was like, I don't understand the difference between these two. But you had very strong opinions.
I just couldn't get into it in the same way that I got into 3.
Is 5 a 3 or is 5 a 4?
So far, I'm not sure.
Okay.
I am enjoying my time with it, and it's nice to kind of get into a fun racing game. I really like the style of racing that Forza. It's not like Need for Speed, which is fun in its own right, or Burnout, but it's not full on Forza Gran Turismo. Like, it's this nice middle ground for me that I really really like. And so I picked up Game Pass and started playing that. And I think I'm going to download Anthem and try that.
I mean, everybody makes mistakes. Everybody has those days. Everybody knows what I'm talking about. Everybody gets that way. Factorio says 5 is great from the chat.
Yeah, no, I'm enjoying it.
I've heard like exclusively good things about it so far. So
yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah. I just did so I named, for all of you any book nerds on this, my license plate says Stormblessed, and there's a full mission where you drive literally into a storm and have to survive. I felt awesome.
Nice.
So
thank you. X Factor knows. Don't play Anthem.
I want to know if anybody
curious.
Is anyone else in the chat interested in Riders Republic, because I think that game looks rad.
Mm-hmm.
I know Alan doesn't care.
I don't care. No.
Oh, it looks fun to me.
No, I like the idea, but it's just to me that doesn't seem like a $60 game. Like, I might get that on sale sometime and try it, but I'm just not.
The game I've been playing this period is Super Mario 64, which listen, the game has been part of my life forever. Why not freaking just solidify it, right?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
I played so much Super Mario. Dude, I beat Super Mario 64 so many times this week.
I watched you
watched me fail.
I watched you do terribly.
I've gotten so much better since that point. So my goal is to beat the game in 20 minutes or less. I made a video about it. I don't know if anybody that watches the podcast saw that, but I'm trying to beat Super Mario 64 in less than 20 minutes. I've been practicing a lot. I streamed it one day. I have a lot of recordings of it. I'm actually going to upload a video soon where I just explain the speed run and my strategies in case people didn't know about it. But Factorio, I think he's saying he's interested in Riders Republic as well.
Yes.
But I've been playing a buttload of Super Mario 64, and I'm just going to say, I love this game because I loved this game as a child. It was a revolutionary game at the time, and it's one that's always been part of my life, and being able to play it with my kids and show it to them was fun. Now speedrunning it has just added a whole nother element to the game that I didn't expect, which is just like trying to actually get good at it. And of course, when I streamed that, it was my third full attempt when I streamed. Now, I've completed the game numerous times. Like,
Yeah.
I don't think I fail runs anymore unless I choose to fail them because I'm doing poorly. I still haven't hit that 20-minute mark, but I can hit sub 30 pretty easily. The problem is sometimes, and I've seen professional streamers do the same thing, but of course they're better, is you are doing amazing and you're killing all of your times and you get to that final Bowser and it's so hard to land the perfect run because you will be doing so well, get to the final Bowser and either beef up the level or freaking just miss the Bowser throws and it feels like it was all for naught. But I cannot express how much fun I'm still having playing Super Mario 64, which is something weird to say after after playing the game for however many years it's been out. Castries says, I originally played the DS version as a child, so looking at the original 64 game, the characters look weird, especially Bowser. The DS version was amazing for me because I played the original 64 version, and when the DS version came out, I was just so excited because I played a lot of games portably at the time, and I was excited to be able to have one of my favorite games in portable form. It was very different. They had upgraded the graphics. A lot of things are different. The speed runs are completely different. But a lot of the regular, if you're doing the game intended, a lot of that is the same. So a lot of the joy is there. But playing the speedruns, I've been like getting into like the speedrunning community and watching other people. It's just a super fun time. It's a super welcoming community, and there's lots of people that are similar. Like, they've been fans of the game forever. They're just getting into it, and their goals are similar to mine. It's a really, really fun thing, and I'm hoping to be able to get more videos about my progress on that on this channel here soon. I'm working on one. It just needs edited.
How many stars do you get on a speed run like that?
So for my run, I'm going for 16. There's different. There's a 0-star category, a 1-star category, and those are hugely glitch heavy. I guess they're all somewhat glitch heavy. Then there's a 16-star, which is the one I'm going for. The world record's like below 15 minutes. I'm going for 20. And then there's a 70-star, which is the minimum amount of stars you can beat the game without glitching anything. And then there's the 120-star, which that speed run just got broken. It's below an hour and 37 minutes, which is crazy to get all the stars in the game that fast. That's not a run I don't think I could ever complete. It's a lot of time to put into a beefed run, man.
Yeah, for sure.
Alan, what the frick is SMTV stand for again? Shin Megami Tensei?
Shin Megami Tensei.
Yeah, 5, right?
Shin Megami Tensei 5, yeah.
Alan, if you had a Switch, would you play it?
Yeah, I would. When I had a 3DS, I played Shin Megami Tensei 4.
Would you stop being a hater if you had a Switch? You'd like enjoy the Switch games?
Probably, but again, like I have so many PlayStation games that I haven't played. But I probably would play. What?
So this is the most important. If you had a Switch, would you play Mario Party with me and Andrew?
Oh, 100%.
Because it has online.
Yeah, absolutely. I would also play. Like I would play Mario Party. I would probably play Breath of the Wild. I would definitely play Fire Emblem Three Houses. I would definitely play Fire Emblem. I would download Xenoblade Chronicles because I was always really upset that I never got to play it. And you know, SMT5 and any other Weeb games that they decided to bring there instead of real systems. So.
Chaos Reed says speedrunning is an alien concept to me. I would be terrible at it. I was terrible at it. This is a game I've been playing for frick, how long? 15 years or something. And when I started speedrunning, I freaking beefed it so hard. I was so bad.
Dude, you're older than that. You know it.
What came out in 96? I don't know when that was. 14?
25?
24 years. Frick me.
Yeah, dude. I was like, 15 years? No. Nah, man.
Frick me, dude. All right, moving on. Um, frick. I was gonna say something to Alan about the Switch, and I don't remember what it was because I've been contemplating my own mortality now.
Oh shoot.
Let's talk about have you heard anything about Elden Ring? I want to talk about open world games because that's a concept we've been teasing for a long time on whether open world games is a design that we like.
Episode 2.
Because I find that Andrew, you tend to really like open world games.
Yes.
Alan, you play a lot of them. I have played a lot of them, but I tend to not like the style. I think it works for some games better than others, but generally speaking, I don't like it.
I know. Yeah. I have said. I mean, I know that I am the trophy hunter. Like I'm a trophy monger, but I really don't like padding of games just because you want to say that you have a big world or that you have a really long runtime.
It sounds like you use open world games as literally idle time for your brain. So
yeah,
like
I use them. Yeah.
So like you don't think they're good.
TV or watching what?
So like you don't think they're good. Like it's good game design.
I think The Witcher 3 is excellent.
Yeah, okay, but that's one. Like I think there's a couple open world games that
Dragon
are great
Quest
as well.
Inquisition could have been good if they hadn't bragged so much about their huge world and then put nothing in it.
Yeah.
Like Inquisition, if they had just shrunk that world down a little bit, like Dragon Age 1 had a pretty no, I guess it wasn't open. You're right. But I mean it had big open areas, but they were zones. So
I wouldn't even call Dragon Age 2 open world.
No, but Dragon Age Inquisition was more open because you could go really to any of the zones.
Yeah.
As opposed to being pigeonholed.
I think something that we can all agree about when it comes to open world games being a problem is the idea, and I'm quoting Eddie from my Discord server, where he says that the game is a mile wide but an inch deep. Oftentimes with open world games, you can even see it, especially and there's different levels of quality because some of them are really good, some of them are less good, but you can see where developers will copy paste pieces of a world and just spread it over farther to say they have more content, or something like Skyrim will auto generate quests that are samey and boring just to say that there's infinite quests in this game.
That's not fun.
Whereas I always value content that is super curated and crafted in an artistic manner, and the larger you make your game, I'm not going to say it's impossible to make an open world game that's hugely crafted, especially because the stuff that we're getting out of Elden Ring sounds like it may be like the perfect game ever, freaking the stuff coming out of Elden Ring, like the hype from this freaking last preview event is the most hype I've ever seen for like a video game in a very long time. I'm talking like it's crazy, but the idea of it just costs way too much money, or it takes too much time to craft something huge it's crafted like that. Whereas Andrew, you tend to like more open world games. Is it just because they are relatively you can just shut your brain off and have fun, or do you actually think that there's something interesting that they do that other games don't do?
I mean, the thing that they do interesting is for me is the open world. Is a large, huge map where you can just do whatever you want. Ever since I was a kid, that was just incredibly impressive to me. Like I just wanted that freedom, not to be railroaded into doing something, but just have the freedom to go where I want, to do what I want, and to see what I want. And when games did it right, like it's like this cool. It's just a weird thing of just like I could just like you see that mountain, you can go there. Like it's like stuff like that, where it's just like, look at this. This is awesome. Different games have done it differently throughout the years. One of my first favorite open world games was Assassin's Creed, the first one, which I think I would consider it open world. That like you've got the 3 cities in the middle area for like zones, but like I still would consider it open world.
Sure.
But like that game, what I really loved about that game was the creativity of that the open world gave you to accomplish certain tasks, and the history side, just like walking around ancient cities that were modeled after some of that stuff that was just freaking cool to me. just being able to walk around the markets and like climb these brick buildings. Like it was the coastal city. I think it was Acre. I think it was the name of the city in that game. It was like this is their medieval city, and it was like the coolest city for me just to wander around and explore. Like it was just fun. Different games I've done it, I would agree, to better or worse. One of the worst open world games I've played, maybe, was the sequel to Mercenaries 2, which was such a bad game, but but also it was like, what is it Saints Row or Crackdown? That is just like the indestructible environments, or the destructible environments.
Crackdown.
Was it Crackdown?
I think
I don't remember, but it was like they were doing that on the 360 before a lot of other people were. Where you could just like call in a missile strike at a skyscraper and just watch it fall down.
See, Beth from the chat mentioned something. The way that you describe loving open world games is the way that I feel about massive multiplayer online games. Like me playing ultimately World of Warcraft was the idea of this world is huge and there are freaking tons of people in it, and I want to fully explore this world. I wish open world games did that to me more, but I find that, and maybe it's just me because like I'm cynical and old and I've played too many games, but it's easy for me in many open world games to see through the veneer of what they're trying to present to you as a fleshed out world and just see the quest system, or like got the side quest here, got the main quest here, drive there, fast travel here, and I lose the immersion that they want me to have.
Yeah. And that's kind of where, as I've gotten older, I've gotten more jaded to the point where I've recognized more of that, where like, I guess everyone talks about like Assassin's Creed got bad. It got really bad. Like Alan, you've been playing through Unity recently. Like I think you can attest to how bad Assassin's Creed got.
But people like Origins and Odyssey and
absolutely.
I think I think they made a big change.
It was an incredible misstep. Unity sucked. And the problem is, Unity's problems aren't uplifted by an interesting story or setting. Revolutionary Paris, when you're not in the middle of the Reign of Terror, is not an interesting setting.
Nope.
No one plays it to be like, oh, look, they're passing messages. Oh, Parliament thinks this. No, no, it's not interesting.
Yeah. And that's where I would like talk about like Horizon Zero Dawn, which is another open world game that I really loved. But for me,
Michael,
I have, yeah.
Can I hold on real quick, Michael? Where do you get your freaking video game shirts?
This one I just got at freaking Kohl's, like a casual.
At Kohl's?
It's a freaking Mario shirt.
Wait, is Kohl's exist outside of the Midwest?
I have a Kohl's. We have a Kohl's here, but
okay.
Where do you get your video game shirts, Michael?
Kohl's and Target.
You buy all of them at Kohl's and Target? You don't order them offline?
No, most of them, no.
All right, never mind.
Yeah, gaming is becoming mainstream in a weird way. That's freaking weird.
Yeah.
What
were
we gonna say about Horizon Zero Dawn, Alan? You like that one?
Oh yeah,
I love Horizon Zero Dawn. It's excellent.
Yeah, it's a really good one. But what was interesting about that world was like how they tied it. They tied it, not just like the existing like tribal stuff that was going on, but for me, what was interesting is how they tied it in with post-apocalyptic world, like post-apocalyptic Earth, and like I want to say there's a specific moment that was really cool for me, but I'm not going to say it because it kind of spoils the story a little bit. But anyway, but for me, what like eventually, even in that game, I was like, okay, I think I'm good on the open world list, but it was the story that really probably carried me through more than anything. And so like open world games for me, as I've gotten older, have just gotten more and more like, okay, I've done this before. For me, the last open world game that I like cared about, and it is now like one of my top 5 games of all time, was Red Dead Redemption 2, which is a very divisive game when it comes to like idleness and side quests and tasks and stuff. It's one of those games that I've seen where it's like you either love it or you hate it. And for me, I loved it. It was because what they did in that world is they made you a cowboy, which for me already is like cool. Like this is
Fastest
this is
guns in
cool.
the Midwest.
Exactly. Yeah. And then but then they would like you had really interesting characters around it. You like cared about these people. You cared about like and I mean I was doing like idle things like doing chores in camp, like hauling horse feed from like one side of camp to the other and just
it's
go
a borderline sim game, and you were really
yeah.
RPing it. Yeah.
Yeah, I did, and I really did. But that was such a game that um, it took that it was for sure an open world game. But when you talk about doing, I don't know if I want to say perfectly because it's such a divisive game. But when Rockstar, when you have the budget that Rockstar
they
does,
committed whole hog with a huge budget.
and the time that they had to make that game, like you can craft something really beautiful, which I think that game is beautiful. Like the story is just incredible.
So, Alan, you've talked about Horizon Zero Dawn. You talked about Tsushima. You talked about The Witcher 3. What
All these games that I've said I've liked today.
What differentiates those open world games from open world games you think are mediocre? Is it just the story? Like, what are the ways? What are the ways that they execute better than the ones you dislike?
Tsushima's world is not enormous, so it's slightly smaller than like a lot of open world games, but it's also incredibly gorgeous. It is gorgeous from the way it looks to the way it sounds, like to the way it just it feels fun to traverse it.
Mm-hmm.
And also, I am predisposed to liking it because I am a weeb. Remember,
so
no one's forgotten now. Like no one is forgotten.
When you
I
say
love Japanese stuff.
When you say it feels fun to traverse it, do you mean just visually, or like are there multiple ways? Like, are you just walking and running and horsing, or like what do you mean?
Yeah, you walk or run a horse, but
Okay.
I almost never fast travel.
You just think it feels good and it looks pretty.
Correct. Running on the horse feels really good, really really natural. There's places that the horse can't go, so you just hop off and go explore on foot, which is really fun. So the setting, now a lot of the stuff that you do in Tsushima is repetitive. That's true, and the storyline isn't fantastic in Tsushima, but I mean, so I'm biased because of just the Japanese culture stuff. Horizon Zero Dawn kept me going. It did wear a little bit thin right toward the end when I was trying to platinum it, but the storyline of Horizon kept me going because it is so interesting with this, this blend of sci-fi and like prehistoria type thing. And so I was super interested to see every time I would come across something modern, something crumbling and that is obviously from a bygone age.
Mm-hmm.
Just like sticking out of the ground, like I could be like, oh, that's cool. Like, how did that get there? Or finding codices. I love little journals or like in BioShock. My favorite thing when playing BioShock were the freaking recorder things where you would hear like a bit of what happened to Rapture before it fell.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
I love those things. And so picking up little like transmissions or notices from, the people who were there before and stuff. So picking up little pieces of the lore and world building while I'm doing that made it fun. And The Witcher, the side quests were just really well crafted. They made sure that the side quests, even if they were fetch quests,
they spent
had
a lot
an
more time.
Storyline.
Yeah, they spent
Correct.
a lot more effort just making sure that they were not just pick the cat up, get your money.
Yeah, the Witcher's in a class of its own. But games like Tsushima and Horizon, they're fun to play. This interesting story, interesting setting, and I didn't run into in Tsushima and Horizon. You don't run into the NPC that you just left at a previous town, but with a different name because they didn't bother giving me a character model. Like it's just like okay, like whatever. So the interaction is only in Horizon. You can only interact with characters who have names and personalities.
Yeah.
And same thing with Tsushima. So I don't know if that's like an appreciable difference or what, but
so one of the things that I find to be a weird conflict of interest when it comes to open world games is they are like one of the things that's supposed to make them great is this sense of immersion and discovery in this huge unique world.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But if you try to tie an urgent story into it, and you're actually engaged in the story, it's going to force you to engage with the exploration elements and the discovery elements less. So you either focus on the discovery and ignore the main quest, which just it really hurts the flow of the story. It hurts like a lot of the narrative elements, or you have the narrative be extremely strong, which forces you to not care about the exploration as much. And I feel like Assassin's Creed, like the worst, like once you get to the Unity train, and I don't know about the newer games because I've never played them, but like the Assassin's Creed games really started doubling down on you're in this huge world, there is a huge story, and also we're gonna spit about 50,000 icons onto your map if you have everything on, and you get to the point where it's like it becomes a checklist, kind of like an MMO. Like an MMO's promise is the same, but it becomes a checklist instead of an actual like engaging with any of the things about the open world that are supposed to make it interesting.
I think that's one thing that Horizon Zero Dawn kind of nailed, because in the story, in the way of, and at least early on in that story, like you've taken this girl who's grown up incredibly sheltered but has this incredibly adventurous spirit, and her village basically sends her out into the world. And so, of course, this character is going to explore and find new things. And part of the exploration and discovery of the world, not only is discovery for the character and like her learning about things, but it's discovery for us as we put the pieces of what happened in this world together. And so I think when you were talking about that, I was like, I think Horizon Zero Dawn nailed that. Because that like exploration kind of makes sense. That of course that's something Aloy would do. Like she's been dying to do this her whole life.
And until you get later in the game, not everything is as stupid urgent. Like there is a quest you're supposed to be doing, but it's okay that you're not doing everything. Alan, have you played Ultima? Rich in our Discord talks about. No, I think the Ultima RPGs is what's. What is this? I can't see. That's the icons.
Oh, that's Unity.
Icon puke.
That's. Can you clear those icons, or do
those
they
are
just
all gone? I have cleared all of them.
So one of the things that I thought that Breath of the Wild did was it really scaled back on the icon dump and the over exposition. Maybe too much because it's a Zelda game, so the story is what it is. It's mostly throwaway, but it allowed you to lean heavily, because the story was kind of whatever, it allowed you to lean super heavily into the discovery side. And the call it what it is, which is an open world game where there's just shrines littered all about, which the shrines are unique, but they're just little puzzles. But the sight lines are crafted in that game in such a way where I feel like every time you climb over a vista, there's either a new shrine or a new really pretty thing or a new weird thing out in the world for you to discover. And it really leaned into the discovery side of things in a way that allowed you to explore that. And I feel like I enjoyed Breath of the Wild in a way that I didn't normally enjoy other open world games because of that exploration element. Most of the open world games that I've enjoyed, I usually end up liking the story a lot and not focusing on the exploration elements, such as like Sleeping Dogs. Sleeping Dogs is a game where I think it's in an open world. The open world doesn't necessarily help it, but it doesn't necessarily hurt it either. You just get really engaged in the story. I focused less on the side quests. It did those later.
Yeah. And with that game, there's like a couple. The exploration, like there's not a whole lot to explore.
Yeah, like, and so it leaned hard into the plot side, whereas Zelda leans hard into the exploration side.
But then in like Sleeping Dogs, in that open traversal, like between points, it was usually that was when the characters would dialogue.
Yes.
And that was when you would get like side things. And so they would use the idle time of that part to actually drop story beats
to
and like
build
develop character. Yes.
And such a wonderful that game is so underrated. I cannot believe that game freaking got canceled because I love that.
Alan, have you played Sleeping Dogs?
Oh, it's so good. I think you're muted, but it's so good.
I can't hear you.
What?
Now we can.
There you go. I can hear you now.
I said no. Why would I play Sleeping Dogs?
Because it's so much better than you think it is. It's so good, dude. Do you know what it is?
I'm not gonna play Sleeping Dogs.
Well, it's
Do you know
old
what it
now.
is?
What?
Do you know what it is?
Isn't it that game where you go around and like?
It's basically a Yakuza clone in some way. In some ways,
No,
that's not being fair to it.
You're an undercover cop who goes in and tries to like go against the
In
triads.
Hong Kong.
Oh,
It's like super Chinese. Anyway.
No, I haven't played Sleeping Dogs.
Okay, so we have to
thought
talk.
you were talking about, what am I thinking of? The one where you like hack the like security cameras and stuff to. There's two of
Deus
them.
Ex.
Watch Dogs.
Watch Dogs.
Oh.
Yeah, screw Watch Dogs. Whatever. That's whatever.
Michael, when we talk about, you mentioned that was for what I loved about MMO or for open worlds. That was what you loved about MMOs, was because of this giant open world. How did you feel about side quests and stuff that kind of detracted from the actual main plot of what was going on in WoW?
In MMOs, that was the promise of MMOs that I wanted. It's never what I necessarily got out of MMOs. The problem is, when you're playing something like an open world, I want it to be immersive and I want it to feel magical. I want it to feel like I'm discovering something. The way you guys described playing Aloy and like finding out the weird elements of the story, this is what I want out of it, and I don't want it to be... I realize that it's a convenience thing. I don't want a bunch of quest markers. I don't want it being like, oh, track this quest by going this way. I want to have to think about it, and I want to feel like I'm part of the world. And I really feel like that's where, like, and we're all gonna, like, if you are in the chat and you have not seen any of the talks about the Elden Ring preview or seen any gameplay from the Elden Ring preview, this game really is going for it. It's going for being one of the best Souls games and potentially one of the most, like, largest leap forwards in open world game design at the same time. Because evidently it's going to be huge, but every area will still be given, in theory, the same level of craft as every level of a Souls game, with also like open world traveling bits. It really does claim to be it all, and the early previews are very hype on this game. Like, the people that have played it so far, they've only been able to play a tiny portion of the map. They've played it for like 10 to 15 hours. They all went different directions, saw different things, hit the walls, but they still didn't. They all did not explore it all, and they all had mysterious things. There were side quests that they found, but none of it's like the handed to you stuff. Which, of course, you're playing a Souls game. Nothing is handed to you in a Souls game, but it really does feel like Elden Ring is trying to be the next step forward for this genre.
What they need, Michael, is they need an option that you can toggle on and off for quest marker tracking, because then people who want to find their way around can. But when I play Dark Souls or Bloodborne, I literally watch a freaking video guide so that I am told exactly where to go and what to do, because I don't want to explore. I want to beat it. I want the fun.
If I had the option to turn it on, I would turn it on and dislike it. But if I don't have the option, I wouldn't. What you have in the game is you get this
control problem.
You get the Zelda style thing though, where you can look at something from afar and mark it and see the marking in the real world. That was one of my favorite things that Breath of the Wild did, was being able to do that. So you could see something from afar, from the sight line you were supposed to see it from, mark it, and then approach it with in-world, like, you could see the quests from far away, mark them, and still explore them in-world with a marker on your map. It's a way to, like, balance that. But I'm finding myself getting extremely excited for Elden Ring, even though I want to be nervous, because I have a lot of qualms with open world stuff. And the thing that I love about Souls games is how beautifully crafted they are. But to have something both crafted and huge is very exciting, and it gets me like a little bit jittery and excited inside. The way that I felt when I very first touched like Super Mario 64, the very first time you go from a 2D platformer to a 3D platformer and you go, this is a freaking huge deal. That's the way that I'm getting, like, and maybe I'm overhyping it, but this is the way that people talk. Dude, listen to people talk about this game though. Just listen to the way people talk about Elden Ring.
Everyone talked that way about Cyberpunk.
Okay,
Oh,
that's true.
oof.
That's true.
Oh,
But I like to be cautiously optimistic.
the
I
side
do
quests
too.
in
I think
Cyberpunk were
I
fun.
think it is going to be excellent. I'm not sure it's going to be as transformative as you're talking about. Maybe it will be, but I do think it's going to be excellent. I think From Software makes excellent games. I think that's the
I mean,
they've
that's
got a good pedigree.
that people said the same thing about CD Projekt Red before.
I agree with you.
Ooh.
I
For
agree with you.
Cyberpunk, we all make
Man,
stickers.
there were some in Cyberpunk's defense. Some of the side quests were really fun. The main story was
Like,
like not good, but the side quests I thought were where that game
once you
was
could
at.
play them. And again, that's the same argument people make about Skyrim.
Yeah, that's true.
Oof,
Uh,
Alan just dropped the mic and walked away. Skype sucks.
In another note, there are rumors about another game going open world, Sonic. The new Sonic is rumored to be an open world game.
Why?
What's your hey Alan? What's your take on Sonic?
I don't understand what open world.
For the audio listener, Alan is gone. I think he's getting a drink in the kitchen. Andrew, what's your experience with Sonic thus far?
He's in Super Smash Brothers, and he raises Chow.
Frick you, dude. For someone that's been playing games so long, I can't believe you have like no Sonic experience.
Right. So
I've
Sonic
never.
2. Sonic 2 is a fantastic Genesis game that is stupid hard
Was
toward the end. Like especially like Robo Sonic, like the last stage where you're on Robotnik's airship and then you have to fight the Robot Sonic and Robotnik. It's bullcrap. It's absolute bullcrap. And a surprisingly underrated game, Sonic Spinball. Sonic Spinball
that game's
was
okay.
a blast.
That game is okay.
That game was fun, Michael. You're just bad at it.
I
was also.
I just think it's weird to play pinball games. Like, of all the things that I'm such a weird hippie about, playing pinball games on console just feels weird to me. I'm just like, why am I doing that? I don't know why. That's my freaking line.
Where you draw the
That's
line,
my line.
Michael.
It's not sports games. It's not music games. It's not freaking visual novels. It's freaking pinball games on consoles. I'm like, what the freak am I doing?
I have to ask you a question because I got to know if either of y'all know what this is. Some kid said it to me today. Do y'all know what a Vocaloid is?
Yes.
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 One of my students was like, someone told me y'all can do the Luka Luka Night Fever dance. And I gift that, and I'm like, what is this dancing anime chick? And they're like, it's a Vocaloid. I'm like, what is a Vocaloid? And they said it's a singing voice synthesizer software product. I don't know what that means.
If you don't know what a Vocaloid is, I think you're a bad.
It means you can buy your own waifu voice and do with it whatever you will. And I do mean that, like, literally. That's what it is.
Hold on. I could buy a waifu voice and then have one of these anime. I could have one of these. I could have this.
You could have it do your booktube videos for you, yes.
So hold on. I could have, like, an anime lady, and then I could just, like, Twitch stream it and have lonely weebs give me money?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
100%. That's your second income. There you go, dude. You can retire.
Destiny.
Yeah. You nailed it.
Factoro in the chat asked if anybody cares about Sonic. Yeah. I don't know if you saw that we have a huge Sonic fan in our Discord, so we can't say anything too negative about Sonic. The one thing that I'll say that's interesting about the idea of a Sonic open world game is what is Sonic's thing? It's supposed to be fast, right?
He's got to go fast.
Why are Sonic games always designed to slow you down and not let you run fast? If you could make an open world Sonic game where you just run around really freaking fast, that would be cool.
Yeah.
Like traversing open world games, if you're not going to make them super immersive or super exploratory, you make them fun to travel in, like Spider-Man.
What if you could, or like Infamous? Like, what if you had like an Infamous style Sonic game where it was just like you're just jumping on a roof to roof,
and you could do your freaking homing bounce to jump off and bounce off buildings? Like, if you just can go fast in a Sonic game, maybe Sonic games could be fun, and maybe you can make a decent Sonic game. Maybe you could make it like so you run around super fast, but it has like, if they just designed freaking 3D Sonic like a Mario Odyssey or a Sonic 64 or something. Like,
I can't believe you. I was talking about this. I can't believe we had a whole discussion about open world and didn't even bring up Spider-Man.
It's because we bring up Spider-Man a lot. It's one that I love because of Spider-Man. I'm surprised you didn't bring up Batman because I know you love the Batman.
I thought
series.
about it. I thought about asking you about Batman.
I like Batman, but I also like. So I've in the past we've had discussions where we say this. Batman is not negatively affected for it being an open world game, but I also don't think it gains anything from being an open world game for me. Like the open world aspects do nothing for me. I just go to the next location, do the quest, and keep going.
And see, for me, the thing that it adds is it allows me to roleplay as Batman. Like that was my favorite thing about Arkham City is I'd sit on a gargoyle and then like so it was like we're gonna beat this person up. And it's like I'm not gonna let that happen, and then I stop it and I feel awesome.
Factora says
such a good game.
Factora says we're past the days of good Sonic. I actually don't think there's ever been a good Sonic. I used to be of a different persuasion, and here's what happened. I used to think 1 was okay. I used to think 2 was okay, and 3 and Sonic and Knuckles. I was a fan of Sonic Adventure when that game freaking came out. I thought it was cool as frick, probably because it was on the Dreamcast, and that was way cooler than my 64 in some ways. The 64 games are way better.
My brother and I played Sonic 2 together. He was Tails, you know, the undiable. Yes. So if there was a dangerous situation, I'm just like, Ryan, go attack that. And go.
Here's the thing, though. When Sonic Mania came out, and everyone was like, dude, they were like, dude, this is what Sonic has always needed to be. It's like the new Sonic game. And I beat Sonic Mania. I was like, I freaking hate this game so much. Sonic has always been bad. Holy frick, I hate Sonic. I like there is a certain boss that I died on in Sonic Mania so many freaking times because of like bull crap that I was like, Sonic has always been bad. Like I had the opposite revelation of everybody else with that game.
That's really funny.
So I don't want to offend. I don't want to offend our Sonic fans. But yeah, open world Sonic game could be cool. Like mix that series up. Freaking Sonic games are weird. Let's go weirder is what I'm saying.
Yeah, absolutely.
Excuse me, Alan. Man. You're a history buff. I grabbed some open world game freaking trivia.
All right, let's do it.
So this is from a random website. I think this is bullcrap, but I want to see what you think about it.
That's fine.
What was the very first... Okay, when I'm asking this, I prefaced it with, this is something I pulled off an internet, and it's freaking bullcrap in my opinion. I also said you're a history buff. What is, according to this random website I found, the first open world game?
First open world game.
Legend of Zelda?
No, a history buff. So we're going beyond video games. This is like this is
the Roman Empire?
Someone said the first open world game was the board game Go, the Chinese-Japanese strategy game. So the first open world game came out in 300 BC for all the boards near you if you live in an Asian country. I was like, that is the most bullcrap factoid I've ever seen on the internet, and I've read a lot of dumb internet stuff.
That's not an open world game.
It says the board represents a large overworld, and the pieces are supposed to be like, I don't know. I don't agree either. I don't agree at all.
They're just playing Age of Empires.
The boldness of this website to state it as if it were fact. It says in an abstract form, but I was like, what the frick is this? It says the first open world game was a game called Jet Rocket, a video projection arcade game released by Sega in August 1970. It would have been a computer game, I guess, at that point.
Or an arcade game.
It has players flying around in a first-person perspective shooting landmarks across a game world. It was supposedly the first open world electronic game. What is the first open world game the way that you think about open world games? Because as I was researching this online, what'd you say?
Legend of Zelda.
So that was a common one. The original Legend of Zelda for the NES.
The original, okay.
People consider the Metroid games to be like 2D open world games. But when we're thinking about open world games in the modern sense, a lot of people point to Grand Theft Auto 3.
Okay.
What is
like giving you like a city to run around in?
Yeah, it's a weird one because. Go ahead, Alan.
What? I didn't say anything.
Oh,
it was me.
What did you say?
What about? I was thinking, what about Adventure on the Atari?
So that's another one that people listed as Adventure on the Atari. And it's like, is that an open world? I mean, I guess it's just like, at what point did open world games become what we now associate with open world games, which is like map splatter and fast travel? And like, was GTA the progenitor of that? Was it, when did the first Far Cry on PC come out? Some people list Fallout, the original Fallout. But here's the differentiator, I would say, between all of those games. All of those games were manually handcrafted without a bunch of the copy pasting or algorithm design, including GTA 3. GTA 3 probably copy pasted city blocks and stuff. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, but
But like Legend of Zelda, that's all handcrafted. Freaking Fallout was handcrafted. Like, these games were actually like super detail customized.
What about Elder Scrolls?
Elder Scrolls would still be crafted, probably the older ones. They didn't really get into the algorithmically created bullcrap until Skyrim, I think. Where like quests would just auto-generate so that you could say that you have infinite quests in your game.
All right, Michael.
Yeah.
I've got some video game trivia for you.
Oh, frick. Okay.
All right, you ready? I'm gonna give this rapid fire.
Oh,
What
frick.
was the first commercially successful video game?
Asteroids?
Pong.
Oh, frick. Yeah.
Pong.
Okay.
What is the best-selling video game of all time?
Tetris.
Super Mario Brothers.
Tetris is an excellent answer. It's Minecraft.
Frick! It passed. I did a podcast where I talked about that. Frick me!
What year was the SNES released?
1985.
Oh, the SNES.
Oh, the SNES.
Nintendo.
Oh, my bad. The SNES.
SNES. Yeah.
Oh, 94.
91.
Frick.
I said 92. I was closer.
What's the highest selling gaming console to date? I knew this one.
Oh, I know this one.
Did you include handhelds?
I guess. I don't know. It doesn't say what its sample size is including.
For PS2?
Well, I would have said the Wii. Okay.
PlayStation 2. Yeah. I did know that. PlayStation 2 is such a good system, especially for the time. In what year was Nintendo founded?
Oh, frick. I don't know.
1889?
1889 is correct.
I was going to guess late 1800s because they did the toy crap.
What position did the creator of the Game Boy have at Nintendo?
What position? Janitor? I don't know.
I was going to be my joke.
Nice.
Janitor's correct.
Nice. I probably read that before. That's
Janitor
awesome.
is correct. Who was the first video game character to have a balloon featured in the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade?
Pikachu.
Oh, frick, you beat me to it. That was going to be my guess.
Pikachu was a little late. I would have said Mario. It's actually Sonic the Hedgehog.
Frick! Screw that kid.
What? No.
He's the fastest thing alive, dude.
Actually, Sonic the Hedgehog.
Man, dude.
There's money
I was
changing
so
hands
into
there.
The 90s where everything needed attitude.
Dude, I was so
Sonic.
into his freaking 90s freaking...
Sonic, he's got an attitude. Sonic
is the fastest thing alive.
Gotta go fast.
Oh my gosh. What product did Nintendo first release before taking on the world of video games?
Trading
Playing
cards.
Yeah, frick.
Playing cards.
Yeah, playing cards.
Yeah.
Good.
Technically trading cards are different than playing cards, so.
Which did I say?
You said playing.
Oh, sweet.
You're right.
What is the average age of a gamer in America?
How do you define gamer?
People that play video games.
28.
I don't know, 30?
35.
Yeah, like,
35.
I was gonna say, like, everybody plays video games, dude. My freaking aunt who knows jack all about Jack, technologically speaking, freaking plays her Scrabble and Words with Friends every day.
I'm sorry, what specifically does he know?
Aunt. She.
Oh, she knows Jack all about Jack.
I said Jack all about Jack, technologically speaking.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Okay. Nintendo owns two of the most popular franchises ever. The net worth of these two franchises equals the combined total of the remaining 8 franchises in the top 10. What are the two franchises?
Mario and Zelda.
Michael?
I would have said Mario and Zelda.
I'm not saying that's wrong. I'm
But
just saying
part of me, do they have to own it entirely?
You like? I didn't write
Sure,
these.
Mario and Zelda. What's Mario and Zelda? We'll say Mario and Zelda.
Mario and Pokemon.
I knew it! Frick me!
Oh,
Dang it! That was what I was gonna guess.
Pokemon.
I'm sorry for
Mario.
everyone. I just blew.
Chaos Reed's got it right in the chat.
Dang it!
Nice. All right, last one then. What popular video game character inspired the name of a human gene?
The name?
Video game character inspired the name of a gene.
Of a human gene.
I have no idea.
Metroid.
Sonic the Hedgehog inspired the name of the SHH gene, which makes sure our limbs grow where they're supposed to. We literally named that gene the Sonic the Hedgehog gene. The SHH gene.
If we,
I think it should have been a Metroid gene.
is this what determines what like the weird people that like Sonic like they have that gene or something?
Well, this actually. Sorry, one more bonus question. What percentage of gamers consider online gaming a family bonding activity? It doesn't even have. This is actually wrong. It's not online gaming. It's gaming in general. What percentage thinks that gaming is a family bonding?
It should be like 100%, but it's not gonna be.
I'm gonna say
75.
It's 33%.
Freaking
33% of adult
morons.
gamers. 33% of adult gamers play online with their children at least once a week. Play games with their children at least once a week.
I play games with my children at least once a week. Usually a lot more.
At least.
You're part of that 33?
Okay, I have a weird since we were talking since I was a dumb butt and guessed Mario and Zelda. I heard a statistic this week that blew my mind. The Legend of Zelda, I don't remember the sales numbers for Breath of the Wild, but I think it was in the 20 millions. I know that Super Mario Odyssey was in the 20 millions. The previous Zelda game that they released was Skyward Sword for the Wii, which was generally critically and critically and mass appeal. People did not love it. Guess how many copies Nintendo sold of Skyward Sword for the Wii? Not the re-release.
How many?
150,000.
3 million. For a Zelda title, a main Zelda title, that's nothing.
What was Breath of the Wild?
Like 20 million.
Wow. What was Twilight
Twilight Princess?
I think Twilight Princess was like 10.
They
Like,
only did 3 for
3 million.
Skyward?
That's so freaking low, dude. That's why they had to change that series, dude. It blew my
Did
mind.
they have
that it
a
was
Zelda
so
game?
bad.
Did they have a Zelda game on the Wii U? Or was it just
They
a Wind Waker
re-released.
re-release?
Yeah, I think it was just that.
Okay.
But do you have
Final
more? Oh, okay.
One more. What is
bad.
the highest grossing movie based on a video game? The highest grossing movie of all time based on a video game.
Grossing.
The chat may beat us to this.
I'm gonna guess Detective Pikachu.
It is Detective Pikachu.
Frick.
I think that movie is a great video game movie. I talked about it last week.
Good.
I think it's fun.
Is
It's not a good.
Ryan Reynolds as Pikachu?
Yes.
I'm not. See, I'm not sure I can get behind that.
Well, it's better than Danny DeVito, who was the
best Pokemon movie is the first one. Mewtwo.
He's Mewtwo is in Detective Pikachu.
Well,
That's cool.
Well, shut up.
Have you not seen Detective Pikachu, Michael?
No, I've never seen a video game movie that's made recently.
Have you seen the Mario Brothers?
Factorial just mentioned Warcraft. No, I have not seen it, dude. Okay, my video game obsessed freaking Mario loving childhood, DNF'd the Mario movie twice because I thought it was such bullcrap as a child. I was watching this like, what the frick is this garbage? And I just turned it off. I was barely allowed to watch TV back then. I was like, this is bullcrap, and I turned it off twice.
It's not good.
Have you shared it with your son yet?
I've still never seen it. I'm not gonna let him see something I haven't seen.
It's not good. He's not missing anything.
Oh my
You
word!
should start the first season of Super Mario Brothers Super Show.
Oh, he has watched that. That's also kind of garbage, but he has watched that.
The Super Mario Brothers Super Show.
The other.
We're the Mario Brothers, and plumbing the game found a secret war zone working on the drain.
Oh my word, dude!
Mario hits on Vanna White in that show.
Weird.
Okay, we got
Oh,
what?
hold on. The freaking Mario show. Tell me y'all watched the animated Zelda show.
The one where like Link is a bro?
Well, excuse me, princess. Well, excuse me, princess.
I have seen.
Well, excuse me, princess. There's like a supercut of all of those.
Yes.
No one can get through it. It is physically impossible to watch it from beginning to end.
I have seen the show. I would not have said that like I watched the show because
Excuse me, princess.
it's such garbage.
Where Link is a dude, bro. Like, what is that?
Oh my word!
Well, excuse me, princess.
Did you ever eat any of that like Nintendo branded like cereal when you were a kid? I never did.
Yeah.
Nice.
You know what? There are plenty of ditches along the side of the road. Maybe I'll go die in one.
I was wondering when you were gonna reference that clip in this video. Thank you everybody for tuning in to Press Extra Revolution.
What is this show?
It's garbage.
Are you looking it up, Andrew? Excuse me, princess.
Oh my gosh.
I might actually be able, if I play the video here. Yeah, here we go. If I play the video here, I think it will actually show up in the podcast. They won't be able to see it, but they will be able to hear it. Oh, frick. It's playing a freaking ad. What kind of bullcrap is this? I have YouTube Red. Here we go. I'm going to try to play it here. Let's see if this works.
YouTube Red.
Princess. Excuse me, princess. Well,
Old you are.
excuse me, princess.
I don't think
can't
you
see
can
it,
hear it, but the chat can hear it, I think. Oh, my word. Oh, my goodness. Oh, hold on. Factoro has a correction. According to Wikipedia, Warcraft grossed more than Detective Pikachu worldwide. Interesting.
Wow.
Also, that's
What,
kind of
does that
dope.
what, does that include domestic numbers then, like total gross?
I mean, I believe Factoro. He's never led me wrong, except for the fact that he doesn't like some games that I love. Other than that, he's never led me wrong. And yeah, I'm pretty sure you nailed that impersonation perfectly, as Chaos Reed says. It was weirdly perfect. Anyway, you've been listening to Press Extra Revolution, the podcast, and looking forward to making more videos on the site. Alan and I, we actually talked about recording Man of Medan. We didn't say when yet, but we did talk about it, which is more than we've done in the past. I'm making Super Mario 64 content. We are here every Wednesday at 9:30, and we love to do the show, and we love to talk to you guys. Thank you so much for showing up. Thank you so much for listening. If you have not already, please subscribe to the channel. If you hit this like button for this video while we're live, I think it shows it to more people on their home pages. I don't know if that's true or not, but I've heard other podcasts who record live say that, so I'm just going to repeat it as well. Alan, excuse me, I was not planning on handing it to you. I was planning on talking, but I burped. Alan can be found on an awesome BookTube channel where he talks about the books that he reads, and you can join him in his bookish Discord.
I'm literally changing my channel's name to Excuse Me, Princess.
What was the name I gave you at the beginning of the show? It was a funny joke.
It was something about Andrew.
Alan, no, it was Alan R.I.P. Sander. That's what I called him.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
referencing your Instagram story. You should follow Alan on Instagram. He does very funny Instagram stories. You should not follow Andrew anywhere because he has yet to establish a social media presence. He sucks so bad at being an online presence that, yeah.
Sonic the Hedgehog did better domestically than Detective Pikachu.
That maybe the stats are old.
Yeah, you
But I
probably
was
just found an old article.
This is huh.
If you like books and you want to hear a different opinion than Alan's, I also have a book channel. All of those links might be down below. If you are watching the show and you're not a member
Hold
of the
on,
Discord, what?
You have to read books to be a book channel, Michael.
Ooh.
I can make book videos about not reading books or making fun of authors, which is what I've been doing.
I saw your book of the month videos today, and you're like, I'm gonna read how to get Keanu Reeves to date you. In
How to
60
marry
days.
Keanu Reeves in 90 days.
Are you really gonna read that, Michael?
I'm
Worth it.
absolutely freaking gonna read that, dude. There's a 100% chance I'm gonna read that this month, probably.
Why would you read that?
Hold on.
It's on the title, Alan. Like this shouldn't be a
Just in
question
case
of
nobody
why.
here follows my book channel, but you want to know what kind of books that I read, I found this book called How to Marry Keanu Reeves in 90 Days, which is a romance, where I'm pretty sure this girl actually falls in love with her best friend, because you know how romances are. But she's going to try to get Keanu Reeves to marry her, but you know, I'm pretty sure it's a friends to lovers romance. Why are romances described by the spoilers contained therein?
I know, right?
I don't know. Anyway, so I have a book channel. Alan has a book channel. All that's linked down below. If you're watching this show and you're not subscribed, please do so. If you're watching the show and you're not a member of the Discord, please join the Discord. There's a section for all types of video games. Thank you for listening to our discussion on open world games. Thank you for helping to add to the discussion in the chat live and in the comments down below for people that are watching the archive version. Until next week, press X to revolution. Viva la revolution. Alan, say your thing.
What do I say? Revolution X!
There we go.